Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Growing Pains. This one's a pretty special one for me. It's one that I conceptualized about a year ago when I first pitched it. So it's taken around a year to get it all put together. But it's quite special because my guest today is going to be Samuel Lee. He's the co-founder and COO of Kepler Interactive. He's also my mentor. He's been helping me a lot around navigating some of the challenges with the games industry and with my own time in building a studio in the past. So yeah, this is quite a special one. And I'm really excited because I think Kepler is one of those publishers that has really been changing sort of the game in the way that publishers interact with studios. And, to their success now with Sandfall, Sloclap, like games like Expedition 33, Rematch, Orbitals about to come out end of this year. There's just a lot going on with Kepler, so it's really interesting, I think, for my audience here, for you guys to hear about how Sam and the team went about building Kepler and Kowloon, their investment division, and how that's publishers essentially grown from inception to where they are now, where they're becoming one of the most popular publishers out there. I think it's fine to say. So yeah, it's a really fun conversation with Sam. I'm really grateful again to him for helping me out and for joining me on this session. And I hope that you guys find it fun. I hope that there's some good lessons in there, especially when you're looking at trying to pitch to publishers, and also to learn about sort of the way that Kepler is different and how you can maybe look at trying to find a better partner when you look at your publishers. So yeah, it's a fun conversation. I think there's a lot of interesting tidbits, and Sam's a super knowledgeable guy. So huge shout out to him and the Kepler team. And yeah, congrats, guys. And thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy the show. Yeah, thanks for joining. You're actually going to be the first guest in person,
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, because I usually just do it online.
I see. Okay, that's good. What an honor. Then thanks for coming to the office. Hope you enjoy.
Thanks for
office.
having me. I'm in the Lumiere room.
Yeah.
Have all the cool stuff. Wearing the merch.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, people know Kepler now. You know what you guys do, but like, give me a general intro to you and to Kepler to start off.
Sure. Okay. So I guess I'll start for myself. I'm Sam. I'm the COO and one of the three co-founders of Kepler. Before that, I also started Kowloon Nights as well. In 2017. And then before that, I actually didn't come from a full gaming background. My first two jobs, first one was in commercial banking, and the second one was in management consulting. But growing up, I was always a big gamer, and I always wanted to find my way into the industry. And luckily, I found my way into it, and then met some good people that along the way to help make what Kepler is today. In terms of Kepler, luckily we had a very big successful year last year. But you may not realize we're actually not an old company. We passed our 5-year anniversary last year, so like this is our 6th year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we started in 2020.
Right in COVID.
During COVID, beginning of COVID. Yep. That's when we started. Kepler is a publisher. But we also have our own internal studios. So how it works is that we have first party titles and third party titles. First party meaning that it's studios that we've invested in. It could be majority, it could be minority. And then these are our own studios. We generally will publish the games as well. And third party will be games that are from studios that don't have a equity relationship with us. So Sandfall is a good example. Expedition 33, Pacific Drive, those are studios not owned by us, but we just want that publishing relationship.
The publishing angle.
Yeah, so we have both.
Interesting. So what was it? You said it was like Kowloon, and then it sort of shifted to Kepler. Like, what was that? Because you said Kowloon came in 2017.
Yes,
and then now Kepler's 2020.
Yes.
Was it always like the plan to do that, or was that like separate fund first and then?
Yeah, good question. So I didn't introduce Kowloon Nights. So Kowloon Nights started in 2017. It's a fund. It's not a full-blown company as we have now at Kepler. It's fund that's designed to invest in PC and console games, independent games, and we do project funding. So we provide the funding, we get revenue share, we're very hands-off. Kowloon Nights doesn't show up as a publisher, etc. So that was 2017. That model worked quite well. So to date, it has invested in 55 projects. And some of the bigger hits are like Spitfire, Sea of Stars, Minecraft Treasures. There are a few cool ones as well. So basically, I think 2017 we started it. 2020 we started seeing, we actually, like 2019-20, we started saying, okay, it's 2-3 years in now with a good portfolio. We have a lot of studios that we're working with that they seem to be happy with the relationship.
Yeah.
And then we were thinking, like, naturally, you start a fund 2. So that was the most natural path to have a Kowloon Nights 2. But at the same time, I think, first of all, Alexi, so the CEO of Kepler and Kowloon, he always had an idea of this, the current what Kepler is. And also at the time, some of the studios that we signed one game with under Kowloon, they started making the next game, they already come back to talk to us. And then some of them actually say, actually, is there a way for you to like do more with us, not just on a funding and taking revenue share basis? If there are more things we can do with them.
So like more traditional publisher type thing.
Or more involved model.
Yeah.
Right. So combining these two things, I think, make us actually start working on the idea of Kepler.
Yeah.
And Kepler being that it will be, initially it was meant to be mainly the first party side. So if you see some of our old press, you would talk about, Kepler is a collective.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Right. Yeah, those are that would be the angle that we focus on early on when we were only doing first party and building up the studio group. And then I can talk more about like Kepler itself, like this collective, which is something that I think is still a going theme.
I mean, that was super interesting for me when like I first heard it from you about how you kind of pitched it as this thing of, the studios come in and it's like this collective resource hub, but then everyone sort of has a stake in the overall publisher.
Yes.
So it's like you're just more incentivized for the whole thing to work and to like help each other.
I can. Talk more about that. So the way that we bring studios into the group. So for sometimes there were a lot of M&A the last few years, right? And usually those are like just one off. You take the company, and then the investee becomes sort of a subsidiary of the parent, right?
Yeah.
For us, it's not like that. So that means that they become Kepler shareholders as well,
gotcha.
Right? And then
so you become stakeholders there; they become stakeholders with you.
Yep. And that's important because we want them to be incentivized to not just work on their studio, but also to help Kepler grow. And there is a lot of collaboration going on between studios nowadays. And I think partially it's driven because the studio founder themselves own Kepler shares. And then that they try to help each other to make each other better as well. So I think, we found that it's a good balance, right? They're incentivized to continue growing the studio, but they're also then incentivized to grow Kepler with us.
No, it's more collaborative than like, I guess, the traditional publisher model where they kind of just take ownership a lot of times. And then like, you don't really know exactly what kind of help you get. So here it's like with the collective, you have shared resources, you have like an environment there. Because I mean, like there's so many co-dev studios now. A lot of people do like outsourcing for production and things like that. If you already have like a set of people being like, hey, we're between games or between updates, let's go refresh, work with somebody else. You get new ideas as well. So I think it's just a really good way because it's also, you have companies pretty much all over the globe now, right? So it's like a lot of different places.
Really spread out,
Yeah. I mean, how does that actually work then with like so many different people all over the world with these studios? Like how would cross collaboration work with like, the cultural side as well?
Yeah. So location-wise, Kepler's, excluding the studio, just ourselves, is headquartered in London, where we are sitting now. We also have an office in Singapore. I myself is based in Hong Kong. And then we still have a couple of people in other places, but London is the hub. Right. We also have a few in France, in Sweden. So most people are actually in Europe. The good thing is that actually, like especially UK, I think that the time zone actually overlaps a little bit with anywhere
everywhere.
You overlap a little bit with Asia, with a little bit with North America. So there are usually some overlap that you can, like, people here can work with places elsewhere. So that's a good thing. And then in terms of just working between studios, what usually happens is that when studios start to work with the other one, usually it starts off with a smaller collaboration. Maybe one person is working on something specific, or maybe a couple of people from a certain like background would jump on a project to help out a studio for 4 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever. And then that's usually how it started. And then afterwards, they're like, actually, it works quite well. Can we actually try to have more people from your studio to help on whatever, right? So, So I think it's quite organic. Again, I think everyone understands that it's better to help each other. Also, it makes more sense because we have so many projects in development in different phases, right? So if you're on your own as a studio, you ramp up, ramp down your people. Whereas, like, if you have the group to support you, when you need to ramp up, you actually don't need to ramp up fully. Right? You can just borrow some people, right, at the peak of the production from other studios who are maybe ramping down. Right. So that's why I think on a whole group basis, we have been quite similar in terms of like headcounts, around 400 across the whole group. And we don't have to keep growing each studio because they can help each other as well.
I mean, how does it work when, let's say a new studio comes in, or, you're saying that there's different points of production and everything, like, is there like a collective thing of like, hey, I need these engineers, I need this resource somewhere, or like, how do the different teams, and like you said, to the point of like figuring out if they do work well together, say here versus somebody in Asia or anything like that. Like, how does that work for the studios inside Kepler?
Yeah, that's a good question. So first of all, the studio founders generally know each other. So, some of them have caused regular catch-ups themselves, and they will find out that they can help each other. So that's one. That's more, we don't organize it. The more organized manner, though, is that we do have producers in the Kepler team.
Okay.
And producers are not producing out, like Kepler doesn't develop games itself, right? So it's actually producers to oversee sort of all the projects going on in different phases, make sure that there's check-ins every now and then with each studio, and also talk to them and understand about their needs in terms of people. And because they do talk to the different studios, they have a sense of, actually, in 5 months' time, this studio may have 5 people become available.
Yeah.
Is there another studio that, are maybe looking for similar expertise, and then we can try to see if they can work together. So we do have sort of a centralized, like, sort of overseeing, roughly.
And they kind of coordinate
exactly
teams. Okay. That's pretty cool.
So it's both. We help, but then they also talk themselves.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, if it works, right? And clearly it does. So that's always good. But then, I mean, taking a step back to like the point of, you said this was already an idea back in like 2017. It slowly grew to that. Like, what made this such an attractive idea for you guys in the first place, doing like a co-dev publisher, essentially?
Yeah. The thing is, I think mainly, Alexi, been thinking that there are some needs in the industry that are not fulfilled by existing models. Okay, that was actually how Kowloon started as well. Because before Kowloon, when studios need funding, they either go to publishers, or they go to platforms, or they find VC, or they do crowdfunding. Right, these are general ways of getting money. These all have their pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
So publishers is good. You also get marketing support, but at the same time, you lose some of your own branding when you publish by someone else. If you go to an investor, you're selling your company, not just the game. So this is a long-term commitment, not just short-term. So I'm not going to go through those, but every one has the pros and cons. But there's nothing that actually did what we were doing at the time. I think there are more people that try to do similar things now, that you just get funding without the publishing.
Yeah, so it's just the money. Isn't that basically games we see though?
But games we would invest in the company, not in projects, right?
Oh, okay, so you do specifically the project.
Yeah, we don't take any stake in the company. We also don't take IP. That's another thing that's attractive at the time. I think more and more publishers nowadays don't take IPs, but back then I think it's still not usual to not touch IP at all. So I think we came up with something that that was a gap in the industry. Like, in our mind at the time, it's like there are developers out there who have already made successful games before. They might have even self-published already before.
Yeah.
But they might still want to de-risk a bit, or maybe their next project is a bit bigger than the last one. They cannot fully self-fund. So there's this like audience out there, like type of developers that are good for us, right?
Okay.
So that's why like Spitfire, CSR, those are fit this portfolio. So that was meant to fill an industry gap. Kepler also was somewhat to fill an industry gap. So again, before Kepler existed, if someone wants to actually find an investor or someone to acquire the studio, right? You can go to VCP, you can go to big, like, I don't know, EA, Microsoft, Embracer, whatever, to fully buy you out, right? So I think that's those existed, but I think we were also something like different, right? Because our model says that, if first of all, if you join us, you become Kepler as well, not just like you become shareholder of Kepler as well, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing, and the percentage may not be insignificant, right? Depending on how much the valuation is for the studio. So that's a meaningful stake in the parent company. Also, we actually are quite. One thing I didn't mention so far is that we actually involve the studios quite a bit in different decisions.
Okay.
Especially the bigger ones.
So like the whole collective, or
the founders, right? Yeah, founders from the different studios, right? So for something like, if we are going to acquire another studio, bring another studio into the group, right? maybe not all of them, but we'll tell all of them. Some of them will even participate in part of the due diligence and things like that as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and then we regularly update them about the games we're publishing, new games we sign, things like that. So they also get a lot more information, which is something quite different. If you get bought by a big company, you are not involved in the parents' decision. You may not even know anything that's happening there until you see on the news yourself, right? So, whereas if a studio joins Kepler, the founders would have a lot of access to information. They will take part in some of the decision making and things like that. That's also another thing that, we believe that it should be working this way. Alexi always says that the studio founders are the people that make games. They understand games the most. We never made a game ourselves, so we're business people. We're showing our expertise, but different. We believe that creators should be the ones that actually can contribute to key decisions as well, not just business people.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's very true. I think the games industry is allergic to business a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
So I've definitely found with both founders and people, creatives.
It doesn't fit all profile, obviously, the way we select studios and also our model, right? Naturally, some people maybe they just want to sell and cash out and retire or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Those are the profile we need, right? We want people to actually want to ambitious. They want to manage something bigger than their studio. They also want to be involved beyond just their studio and help grow the group as a whole.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's a much nicer way to do it, right? Because then you're also just building games with a passion, I guess. You're finding those people that are like you said, driven to build games as their life's mission. So when you were saying with Kowloon, you were doing project based. Now with Kepler, it's more studio. But then you also do third party publishing with Kepler now as well.
Yeah. So those are project based.
Okay, so that's also just project based. That wouldn't be IP or
no IP ever. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So we may help them find partnership and stuff. But we don't own the IP at all for sure. Third party. But
then you do the publishing side for that now as well.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
Oh, that's a pretty cool model.
Yeah.
So I'm
actually, even with the third party, we have different types of ways you can work with developers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far I've talked about the more traditional publishing model where we'll fund the game, we'll do all the marketing service, publishing service, and then the game we will be the publisher of record, right? So that's more the typical publishing, like especially 3, Pacific Drive, those will fall under this category. But we also have other business models that we offer. One is it's called Kepler Ghost. You might be able to see it on some Steam games. It's what we call white label publishing. What that means is that we are not publisher of record, but we still do the work behind the scenes. That's why the word ghost. Usually these are also titles that don't really need funding. They probably found enough development funding either from the previous game or from the investor already, but they do need the publishing help. Okay. But at the same time, they want to also grow their studio brand. So they may not necessarily want to do a traditional publishing deal where the publisher becomes the publisher of record. So these are perfect candidates for us that we would work with and do this model.
Okay. But what's that kind of deal like with them? Because if they're I guess predominantly doing most things, you're essentially doing almost marketing outsourcing, I guess, in a way, right?
Yes, almost. Yeah, almost. You can think of it that way. Yeah, it would be a rev share basis, but much lower than the traditional publishing model.
Okay, cool. I mean, it's good that you can kind of be flexible. I mean, when you're coming up with these models, because like you said, you guys are more from the business side, both for Kowloon and Kepler, how did you go about raising that initial fund coming in almost as an outsider, right? Because the games industry in general is so gated. It's so heavily gated. So that it's oh, hey, we're business people. Let's go raise money for games.
Yeah, I think the fact that our first venture was a fund was actually make it, I guess, easier for what you said, business people coming in to get money. Also, I was not in game industry before, but Alexi, the CEO, he has been in the industry all his life. He was in Ubisoft, Microsoft, Tencent. He built up the idea Xbox program at Microsoft, so he had a lot of experience in this area in terms of scouting games, evaluating games, and things like that. So I think that definitely helped get the investor to be happy to invest in Kowloon at the time.
Okay. Yeah. Then when you then went to get funding for the Kepler part, which is only 3 years, so that's a pretty short turnaround.
Yep.
Were a lot of those games even out? Because I'm imagining like most of them are still within like the dev cycles, right?
Yes. So a few games were out at the time. There were more that were signed but not out yet.
Yeah.
So for Kowloon Nights, we got a few investors. We got the fund working, which is great. One of the investors back then was Thesis. And if you look at
Nice.
Kepler, Kepler, if you look on our the 2021 announcement, it mentions like Thesis is our only investor. And they invested 120 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like the first big one was for Kepler specifically was just NetEase and that
So
like funded.
to date, we only have Thesis as an investor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that was because we had the previous working relationship with them.
Yeah.
They were very happy with it, so they were happy to trust us at the time.
Yeah.
Give us a big ticket to start this new crazy idea.
Yeah, and I guess like that was also like COVID, like games was like, you know, peak at the booming.
Yeah, I
era
think timing
there,
helps a
so
little bit as well.
they were
I
like,
can't deny it. Yeah.
yeah, but no, I mean it's really cool. And then like from that, you've kind of snowballed on, right? Like it's only been 5-6 years, and you've got like last year you had a Rematch, Expedition 33.
Yeah.
Before that as well, I remember I played like Sifu and stuff. So it's like
Scorn, a bunch,
lots of. It's like it seems like it's just all hits, at least from the
fingers crossed.
outside.
We have fingers crossed. Let's see.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's great games, and I mean, like, you know, for like a company that's only 5-6 years old, the fact that you've been able to release such a diverse portfolio is like pretty insane. You know, especially coming early on. I guess when you were looking, I know you said like Lexi has some of that background in terms of finding these games, but like, how did you go about specifically partnering with these studios? Like I read with Sandfall, it was like they liked you because you gave a little bit more creative freedom, for instance. But like, how did you go about when you're like evaluating these different studios that early on, coming in almost as an outsider and convincing studios to be like, hey, come with us over traditional publishers or bigger game companies?
Are you asking for the equity side, like when we acquire like a studio, or more the project side?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So because the answer would differ a bit, of course. So I think on the studio side, we tend to work with studios that are 15 to 50 people, I guess, at the time when they join the group. So not huge ones. And then we tend to also work with studios that have a genre or some sort of gameplay or mechanic that they want to hone into, and they want to just keep doing better and better in it as well. We want to grow them to genre leaders, you know, in whatever they do, right? So I think that's another angle we look at. The profile of the founders generally had AAA background before, but not the senior level.
Gotcha.
So usually it's like a lead or like a team leader or something like a mid level, but with at the AAA experience. So they know how AAA games work, how to make big production, the quality process and things like that. But at the same time, they are still very also eager to prove themselves, right? Instead of being a big company now, they come out and so I think it's a good 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 mix of experience in that sense. So yeah, and then obviously, and then once we have talked to them, they express interest. When we usually have not just our team, the Kepler team, to talk to the new studios, but also have the other studio founders who are in the group already to talk to them.
Yeah.
So they can also test more about like how good they are, like tech, you know, art, everything, right? So that's important. And then on our end, we try to actually gauge on whether the studio actually has ambition to grow themselves and grow the group together, right?
Okay.
So I think these are a few things that we look at if we are taking a studio in.
Yeah. So I guess that's more rigorous, right? Like that's a lot more time incentive and
there are more definitely that also. And then because it is a equity transaction, obviously we have to do the finance, legal diligence and those things as well, right? So that is those are things that we always have to do as well. In terms of then choosing games, right? It's a very good question. We spent, you know, a few years like feeling that, we sort of know what games we like.
Yeah.
But never really like wrote it out until last year. Last year, beginning of last year, I think, we finally got to write something that is like, actually, it makes so much sense. It actually sort of fits, you know, how we think about games. It's just that it was never really written before.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think therefore, I think four things we look for when we sign games. First is authenticity. Okay. So it means that the game has to be true to the creator.
Okay.
So for example, Sifu, the creative director John, he actually practiced Padme Kung Fu for 15 years.
Oh,
I think he wanted to transcribe the experience, and he also loved Hong Kong, like martial arts movie as well. So combine these two, he wanted to transcribe that into a game experience, and that's why Sifu was born. Pacific Drive, Cassie, they used to drive wagon themselves,
Oh, okay.
and they were a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the experience that they try to like replicate in Pacific Drive.
Okay.
Right, driving the unknown place and with like abnormal things happening, right? So
Yeah.
so it was actually based on their own experience.
Okay. So it's like true to the person themselves that's creating it.
Yeah. So authenticity, right? And for us, even if you don't understand, even if you haven't experienced the things that they're trying to put in it, you can feel the authenticity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, expression is very, very French, right?
Yeah.
Chia is based on New Caledonia, which is where they were born. So like, I love the the games that we have actually have some personal connection with the creator behind them. I think that's one thing, authenticity. Same thing is culturally impactful. And how we define it is that we think that there are already too many games that are like Star Wars, Marvel, zombies. Like there are things that are really overused already.
Like the popcorn games.
Yeah, like the themes at least are like very used. You can obviously do different gameplay and genres, but at least the themes, some of the themes are very used. We actually like games that actually take inspiration not from games, but from other forms of culture, whether it's art, movie, things like that. And then they would then include some of these other elements into the game. So it's not just self-referential with other games. So that's another angle we look at. A third one is what we call what we say timeless. What it means is that we tend to try to look for games that are quite special, that you may not be able to say clearly what genre it is.
Okay.
So one upcoming game that's the best example of this is we have an upcoming game called PVKK. And PVKK, what it works is that you're controlling this huge controller that will shoot missiles.
Okay.
And then you have to control every knob, every button in the game, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're basically defending the planet. So there's some alien invention, and then you try to defend.
So it's like a kind of strategy game of.
But there's also there's also some paper piece element about whether you actually defend or you actually do something different, right? With a rebellion and stuff like that. So
interesting.
but this game, like controlling a big panel, shouldn't miss out. There's not really other game like this. And why this matters is that why we call it timeless is that because in this case, does it matter whether the PVK launches 3 years ago or 3 years from now or now? Like for us, it doesn't matter because there's no other game like it.
It's still going to be unique,
right? It's going to be unique enough. We don't have to look at because there's another game. This game is launching. We have to avoid whatever because it's okay, right? So some of our games will fit this profile where it's like quite special, quite unique, right? Its own thing. Right?
Okay.
And lastly, just general excellence, which is a combination of some mechanic innovation and also some really strong world building and visuals. So these are things we care about as well. So yeah, these are sort of the areas we look at and we evaluate.
I mean, that's a really interesting list because, like, I guess what I'm seeing, especially more traditional publishers, and if you're looking at AAA, right? Because, like, I think it's pretty much well known in the industry now. Like, AAA isn't really innovating. They take 7-10 years to build a game, and it's usually a copy paste
sequel,
everything.
Yeah,
sequel or remake. That seems to be what it is now. But like, so the unique one definitely stands out. It's kind of like if I was to make an analogy to the film industry, it's like how I see like A24 as a studio versus like the rest of the studios out there. Because like it's very hard, I think now, and I mean a lot of the people that listen to this as well are from the indie side here, and so for a lot of them, where I've spoken to them and seen games, it's just like, the indies and double A's are where innovation is happening now. They're the ones that are still experimental, still looking at things. Whereas like the biggest studios, it's like, they're in that safety trap of like, we just need to make the people here survive and have jobs to have money. So we just need to build a game that's going to be safe and
safe, right? Yeah, but the problem for us, the way we see is different, right? We don't think safe is actually safe. Like you see all these new sequels now coming out that still do great, but then the budget has tripled or whatever, right? Is it
money's
still
going down?
Like, is it a profit making that you don't know, right?
No, I mean that's really cool. So I mean, like, I guess when you're looking for things like timeless or authentic, and like when is crazy too crazy though?
I don't think we have like hard boundaries. Like obviously some of the illegal stuff or
Yeah.
whatever, yeah, so that we won't take in. But other than that, I don't know. Yeah. I think another thing that that happens is that because like we're all gamers, right? And then the team that does the evaluation are all gamers. They'll play very different games, right? So one thing we look for is that when when they discuss which games to sign, the games that we sign end up signing usually has at least one person that's like feeling very strongly about it.
Okay.
Yep. So so like if everyone feels like, oh, this is a great game, it's probably not interesting enough. Whereas if it's like one person or at least one person, this is like we have to get it. Right. Even if there are a couple of people that are not sure, right?
Yeah.
That may get through actually. So having
Okay.
a champion of a game is important. Right.
Yeah.
And the reason I brought it up based on your question is because I'm thinking like what's too crazy. If it's too crazy, maybe no one would be the championing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
it just would get weed out in
Yeah.
the process.
But it still needs to hit something for you guys to be like, yeah, this is, belongs in the Kepler portfolio kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. No, I mean that's really cool. And then I guess like, you know, now that you guys have, I guess, had a bit of success and everything, things are going very well. Like so Experience he keeps winning awards
Yeah.
every other day, it seems like. So it's like, how do you like expound on that, right? Like, I've definitely seen it with a lot of studios and publishers where once they have a little bit of success, they also fall into a little bit of that safety trap or be like, hey, we've got to, you know, kind of stabilize now, or be like, hey, we've made it, so we want to keep it at the made it part. I guess what keeps that risk appetite alive for you at this stage?
Yeah, I think we do have more games in the portfolio that are coming out as well. So yeah, we'll keep signing new games. I think the approach that I laid out is
Yeah.
the approach that we have now, and it's not going to change suddenly. Oh, we need to look for only safer games or like proven genre, proven IP, whatever. Right? We still want to be excited about
Yeah.
new ideas, new worlds, new gameplay. So that doesn't change. I think our approach to finding games.
Nice. But then, okay, so you've got now like the portfolio of these games and things like that. For some of these studios, like, would it work when you first fund them and you're funding the game, but then over time you're like, hey, we want to bring these guys now into the collective or things like that? Like, is that also something that happens where that relationship can grow?
Yeah, that's something that can happen for sure. And that's something that we'll still keep an eye out on. Yeah, usually, actually, I'll say the other way. For studios that we bring into the group, usually there is already almost all of them already have a existing relationship with us.
Okay.
So for the first 7 studios that we brought into the group, 5 of them actually work with Kowloon already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the connection. The other 2 are actually founders where they know Alexi for more than a decade already before as well. So
Nice.
yeah, so usually there's already some existing working relationship when we
Okay.
bring in new studios to the group.
But then do you also like for, I guess, for Kepler, because I guess within the collective and with the fund, would you also bring in first time founders or kind of new people in, or would that be first like, okay, we really like them, maybe we'll invest them in the first, see if they can prove it out, and then later see if they want to join, if they kind of validate?
If they have a strong pitch, and we like the pitch or whatever they're building, maybe not just a pitch already, maybe a demo or something, then yes, then we can definitely invest in the project first.
Yeah.
And then over time we put up connection, and then we can consider bringing them into a group. That's definitely actually what I would say more the path that we prefer. Like
Yeah.
in general, I don't think we like just bringing someone into the group that we haven't known each other, right? It's a bit like a marriage once you're in the group, you know.
Yeah.
So you want to date a bit first and see how each other is during good times, during bad times, and then you actually
That over time you see, okay, like, does this work? Is
Right.
it's gonna be a thing over the long term?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. No, I mean that's a pretty good. I think that's a pretty good way to do it. I guess, have you ever had any, like, were there any points where you were like, okay, this is not going well, or did you have any doubts ever where within this journey over the last 5-6 years, or even before that?
Just it takes time to build a group, right?
Yeah.
So you can imagine the beginning, like when we are spending a lot more money to acquire the studios, to build up our own team, compared to the games we launched, like we did, like it was tough for at the beginning, right? When it was loss making for a while, right? So we did go through some hard times. But fortunately, with support of our investor, also our launches over time as well, like we passed through it. So yeah, and then we had a very successful 2025. So
Nice. And then how does it actually work with, I guess, everyone has a stake with the Codev Studio, you have a stake within Kepler. Is there like revenue sharing then between like Kepler's earnings, or like how does that work for the studios?
Yep. So studios, it depends a bit on their own finances. So if they are self-funding the game,
Mhm.
like if they self-funding the game, they don't need funding from us to fund it.
Yeah.
Then they would get the upside. But because we usually do publish the game, right? So we will probably just enter. We usually just enter a publishing agreement with them. We take a small share, revenue share from them, and provide all the help on the publishing side, and they keep the rest.
Yeah.
So that's for studios that can self-fund their game from previous proceeds or whatever. For studios that actually do need funding from Kepler to continue the game, then it's like a full publishing model for us. Basically, it's just we will evaluate it based on the same standard as we evaluate a third-party inbound project. And then work with them on the funding, the payment schedule and deliverable schedule and things like that as well. So and
Yeah.
then in that sense, then obviously because we fund it, then we'll take a bit more share, revenue share, higher revenue share.
Have you ever had, I guess, like a conflict of interest or anything like that? Because there's like so many different studios within this in the collective, and they've kind of got to, I guess, make a decision together, right, in terms of where the funds are being allocated.
Yes and no. I think because if we're bringing a new studio in the group, they will have more say in it.
Alright.
Yeah, but if it's just a third party project, because like I said, right, if we're funding our studio, we're thinking of it as another third party because we are funding, we're publishing, we'll be pushing record, so that the deal terms will be quite similar to a third party. And that is more just that studio with Kepler.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is more a Kepler decision. We would usually look in a couple other studio founders, because it may be a genre that some of them actually have more expertise in, or a genre that they are more interested in. So we would use a couple other studios to help, but you won't be like we'll need to get everyone to say yes. Ultimately, it will be even for the studio founders that are in the process. They know that because the funding comes from Kepler headquarters, not from their studios. So like it's our decision, it's Kepler's decision to where the fund or not the new project.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, so they still get some kind of insight, but ultimately you guys still make the decision about where it goes and how it expands.
Yeah, they are run pretty independently. There's a lot of collaboration on like actual development, but but they are run pretty independently.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I mean, then so when you have this, is there ever a thing of like, I guess they don't pay each other, right, for the work, or do they when they're doing?
They do. If some people actually jump on the other project, then yes, of course.
Okay. So if like a different studio comes on, it's like, hey, you get paid like by us in our salary.
It will then become like a work for hire basically, right? So it will be cost plus something, and then they can negotiate themselves, and then sometimes with our help as well.
Interesting. Oh, okay. Because I thought it was like just like, oh, maybe we're just sharing resources for free and they're just being paid.
Oh no, because like again, because they have their own profit and loss, right? So you can't just give free resource. They will be willing to help. But they still need to get compensated for it. So it doesn't impact their books.
Oh, okay, interesting. I mean that's pretty cool. It's like a little mini club then. It's like, hey, we make the inside deals here. Here you go, kind of thing, and just connect you with the people.
Yep.
Okay.
And I think it's also better that because we know they would know that these are people from the other studio, and the studio founder there already said good things about these people from the project, right? So it's not just sometimes it's not so easy to find a person to jump on a project for a while, right? So this is actually also for the studio staff is good, right? They can get to try to work on different projects, work under different studio processes to learn and to gain more exposure for themselves, right? Without actually leaving the studio. So that's also a cool thing, actually.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I mean, when you go to so one thing with Kepler that I guess it's becoming more prominent now, but like before, because I knew you had a lot of games and everything signed, but like when you go to events and things, it's not always common that Kepler has a stand with all its studios or things like that. Like in a lot of the industry side things, like I don't think I've seen like Kepler as a presence within that ecosystem. Is that?
Yeah, we haven't. Like we have. So I don't think we have ever have a big booth in any B2C. Yeah. So we might have small ones for just one game or two games. We have those sometimes in big conferences, but never like a big Kepler booth with like 10 games displayed there. We never.
I thought you want to do like a big stand with all the collectives or anything.
Not on B2C side, no. B2B we had a couple Gamescom, I think, rooms before, but it's not even a big stand. It's like within the bigger thing, and then we have a room inside it, so we have our private meeting space.
Yeah.
So that we've done 2 times maybe. Yeah, but not something consistent to.
Okay. I mean, is there a reason you don't do, I guess, more of like the public side of those?
It's gonna be controversial. We just don't think the payoff is worth it for
Okay.
in-person game shows.
Fair enough.
There's better way to spend the money.
They have
There,
been dying, to be fair. It's
yeah.
definitely been a shrinking market, unfortunately. I still love going to Gamescom and all that stuff, but
Yeah, I enjoy walking around in show floors as well.
yeah, but yeah, no,
It's also hard to track, right? Like there must be people that
yeah,
know the game because of the conference, but you may not be able to track, right?
it's harder now when like a lot of discoverability has come kind of more online and things. I guess on that, is there like for studios coming on, you know, before you guys didn't have necessarily as big of a publisher name, now it's much bigger. I guess what was the, I don't know, incentive for them to join from a discoverability angle? Because that's becoming one of the main things that publishers are like trying to push on, is right. Like, come with us, we give you our name. That's how that's like half your marketing essentially.
Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier that we can offer not just publishing but like the ghost model, for example,
Yeah,
right? So I think because now that the Kepler brand has gone stronger, actually I think more studios when they talk to us, they are more interested in the publishing than
yeah,
the ghost, because
okay,
then they appreciate that the Kepler brand actually will help their game, right?
yeah.
So I think there's more
So it's like
people asking.
turning the tide almost now.
It helps, but I mean for us ultimately, how we think. Sometimes people ask us, "Oh, why you have so many different business models? Do we have to allocate like 50% this, 30% like whatever?"
Yeah.
And our answer is always that it's the other way around. It's that we find the games that we really want to work with, we find the studios that we want to work with, and then we tailor our offering based off them.
Mm. So it's like everything's bespoke to the person.
Yeah. So that's how these different models was born. Right? We're like, oh,
Yeah.
actually, some studios like they only want our service, but they don't want our publishing
Yeah.
name. So that's how like Kepler
I
Ghost was
guess.
born, right? So I think for us, it's always the game first, the studio first, and then we tailor our model.
Yeah. I mean, how do you think that will like scale? Because I'm guessing like you're getting a lot more people like come up to you now, being like, "Hey, we want Kepler to do publishing. We want them to do this and that." So like, how do you scale a model like that where it's, you have to spend a lot of time evaluating these studios and be like, what's the right mix of these for this person, right? Like the more you have coming in, obviously there's just more processing times and all of that. So how do you scale something where it's supposed to be bespoke?
So the bespoke part is the actually after we pick
Oh, so after
right?
you're like, okay, we're sure about these guys.
We know we want this developer, and some of them will have many different offers. So we want to make sure that our offer is the best and the most suitable for them, right? So that's the bespoke part. We don't have to for games that we don't work with. Obviously, we'll review them. We'll for ones that we don't like, we'll kindly decline them. For ones that we want to talk more, we'll schedule calls up with them. That doesn't change. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's pretty cool. And then I guess, is there anything you're excited about coming out, or like things that you're looking out for right now when you're looking for these games?
Looking for new games.
Yeah.
I think the
Just the
criteria
four things.
the criteria that and the good thing about the criteria is that like you can understand if you look at our process, you say, oh yeah, it makes sense, right? The four criteria work mostly or all of them. But it doesn't limit us like in genres, in art style, in things like that, right? So
Yeah.
so if I can tell you I'm excited about this genre, I'm actually contradicting myself, because
True. I mean, you can have personal preferences.
yeah, but personal, yeah, there are games that we like. For our existing games, I know I'm most excited about Orbitals, which will come out later this year.
I don't know that one.
Yeah,
What's
Orbitals
that
is
one?
it was announced at the TGA.
Okay.
And it's a two-player co-op
Ooh.
only. So it's similar to Split
Like
Fiction. It takes
Fiction and
two-player co-op only asymmetric.
Two.
But it uses a very distinctive 80s, 90s anime art style.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Definitely going to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll come out this year.
Nice. Yeah, I think that there's been a rise of those kind of like, well, it's mostly It Takes Two and Split Fiction.
Yeah.
They're very good. So I think it's coming back. I remember like when I was growing up, we had a lot like with like PS1, PS2, there was a lot more like the co-op split screens. I miss those. Those games were fun. So it's I don't know. It's a weird thing. If I feel like a lot of media is kind of looping, where we're like not just remakes, remasters, but if you're looking at film or anything else, like, or even like how we're consuming music with analog vinyls coming back. It's like we're almost looping to like, oh hey, this used to work 20 years ago. Let's bring this back and like add some sprinkle on it. That seems to be like a big thing that I'm seeing with a lot of media and content nowadays. It's like go anywhere you can.
Yeah, I mean, another one is turn-based JRPG.
Yeah, pretty
Supposed
much.
to be fading out, but yeah, Expansion has proven that there's a big market for it. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
curious
mean,
what the next wave will come out.
yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan, huge Persona
Same.
fan, so I'm just like, the more the merrier, the more the merrier. I was playing 33, finished it. It's really good. Like, on the soundtrack, it's like it hits
Yeah,
all the beats. It hits all the beats.
definitely, yeah. And
So
then I don't know if you know they had a bunch of concerts. So there was one in
yeah,
London a
there was
couple of
one
weeks
in
ago.
GDC.
No,
They did well,
no.
not from them, but I know like they performed some of the
Yes,
Expedition
yes,
33 songs in
yeah,
GDC.
there's an official one.
Yeah,
And
it's
the
in
London one
London.
was that was it was 2 weeks ago.
Oh
I was
damn,
there.
I
Yeah,
missed it. I should have gone.
all the tickets were sold out very fast. So
Yeah,
they have I don't know 20
that's
something
true.
30 around the Europe, but all sold out. Or like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, they should do it again. They should do it again because I mean, I got into the Final Fantasy ones. They come here
Oh,
like every year,
okay,
and
I
they
see.
have like a different arrangement.
Okay.
And so they're like milking money. So that would also be in Royal Albert.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I'll definitely go next time they're back in London or wherever I am in the world because it
True.
varies. I need to be in the place where they're doing the concert in the
Yeah,
first
it's
place.
very impressive. Definitely.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool. And then yeah, is there anything else like? Well, actually, one question before we go to that one. It's like now that the industry is becoming so saturated, right? From a games angle, how do you look at, I guess, releasing a game? Because like was it what's it called early release on Steam and things, early access. Yeah, that's basically now not really early access. It's basically your main release at this point almost. And so like all these little things where you know the games are becoming a lot harder for people to find. Nobody can actually really do anything with Steam. Distribution is becoming a mess. Like, how do you see that evolving in the industry from like the publisher angle?
Yeah, I think that makes it even more important that you pick the games that can stand out. And I think that again goes back to the criteria how we pick games.
Yeah.
The games if fitting all four criteria should all stand out in their own rights. And then that's the first part. The game is good, and then second part is that we find the right way to announce it. Usually we try to find you know either it's partnership with consoles, right? So Xbox, PlayStation, etc., Nintendo, etc., and then or it's like TGA,
Yeah, like a big show.
yeah, a big show basically.
Yeah.
So we usually try to find those to announce our games to make sure that it gets the maximum visibility that they have.
Yeah. But then do you still find wish lists to be like, because I've heard a lot of, I guess, debate around wish lists and how important they actually are now in terms of the actual release and success of a game. Because it's like before it used to be the metric to look at. Now importance has kind of gone down. So do you still look at that, or is it more just like a number of different things that's happening?
If you ask me for one metric to look at, then I think that is still the one that we talk about a lot and things like that. Of course, we look at other things, right? Like the views, followers, and other things as well to supplement it. So it won't be just looking at wishlist. Also, I think if you read some of those articles that study wishlist extensively, there's a lot of math behind it. Like you have 100 wishes, I have 100 wishes. It may not be the same, right? If yours says 5 years old and mine's like fresh from the last 6 months, yours will get less multiple, right?
Yeah.
So it's not. So you can't even just look at the number. Anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, but it's still a good metric. Like for example, the first review of a game, and then we look at the wishlist. I think that is at least something that's still meaningful to it. Yeah. Like the first week after the initial announcement or something, right?
Yeah, no, because I've seen a lot. Like it used to be, at least when we were like Newzoo, like again 4 or 5 years ago type thing. That was a big business. Was like right, just like people being like, okay, what's going to be projected review for this? Then on that you get the sales number. You model out all of those statistics. And now I'm just like a lot of that like is wholly inaccurate because I think you had that from that. You had that from the number of Steam reviews. There's so many different models to do this, and it's like, oh yeah, this used to work in that age. Now it doesn't work. So I'm like the whole ecosystem always changes, and it's the same with wishlist. Like you said, like the metrics change, all the little like I guess in things that influence that number are changing as well. And then people are changing. People, the way they play, consume are changing. So it's becoming a really weird landscape with media in general, but like games specifically. So no, it's good to know that there's still some standards that still exist.
Yeah, we still track it. Let's just put it this way. Yeah. And then but we do track other things as well. I think anyways, no matter how you try to track, you can never predict the exact.
Yeah, it's still a gamble. At the end of the day, it's still at least a little bit of a gamble.
You still don't know until it comes out.
Yeah. Are there any things that you were like really surprised by from like studios you invested in, or things that came about, or things that you like missed, I guess, where you're like, okay, in hindsight, this kind of makes sense, but at the point it didn't.
Yeah, there are things like that we've missed, but the more important thing is that we need to make. There's just so many games out there. There's so many good games out there, great games out there, and it's not possible to invest in everything, anyways.
Yeah.
What we emphasize on is that we make sure the games that we invest in do well, right? We don't feel too bad if we have to. Then we will have some misses. I think every publisher will have that.
Yeah.
That's just how it works.
Yeah. You just go with kind of the flow a little bit with those things.
Yeah, it's more problematic if you actually are investing in the wrong things, right? Then missing out some good things.
Yeah, it's got to be true to like your brand and what you guys want to do. Yep. Which makes a lot of sense criteria, because I was like, when you look at your portfolio, it is like everything, right? You've got like online competitive, like JRPGs, all fighter games. Yep. So it's literally a little bit of almost every genre. So there's no like distinct pattern in the
we used to put Scorn and Chia next to each other all the time. Just for fun. Because fun is very like colorful.
Yeah.
And then one is like very like horror, right?
Yeah.
And now we also have like Orbitals and Ontos. Ontos is again horror. Orbitals is like anime style.
So anime, yeah.
I mean, we actually announced both at the TGA. So.
Oh, really? It's like back to back.
Was it back to back? I think it was not back to back.
Okay, because that would have been really jarring. I'm like, okay, you got like this anime, really colorful thing, and this like dark horror thing.
Yeah.
No, but that's really cool. I mean, I really like the model, and I really like what you guys have been doing. Is there anything else you're like excited for? Anything you want to shout out?
Well, I think we're very lucky to be in the position we're in after last year's big successes, and that's kudos to the whole team, Kepler team, and whether it's every function, right? I think it's important, and especially with the people that joined us early days. They've gone through, and we were like 20-ish people, 15, 20-ish people. Now it's like we're more than 50 people. Some ups and some downs as well. Like and I'm really thankful that we have built a very good team.
Yeah, nice. Well, I just want to say thanks again so much for hopping on, having this conversation. I know we've been discussing it now for like over a year, I think.
Oh yeah, it's about doing this.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we finally got to do it, and in London when you're here from like the trip as well. So thanks for thanks so much for your time, and then also like from me as well, just like because many people don't know this, but you've been my mentor now for like a couple of years.
Yeah, indeed.
So I mean,
we could shout out to a Limit Break.
Limit Break. That was how we met. But
I signed up to be a mentor again, by the way. So if anyone thinks you want someone to mentor on the more business side, obviously I haven't been a game before, but I'm happy to give advice on other things. Yeah, but no, I mean, I've found your advice very, very useful throughout, and I think for anyone that's like, hey, we're just kind of starting out on this journey, was looking to build something and like wants a little bit of business advice, because I think I still remember when I was actually building the studio side things, I think a lot of the early advice was like, oh, remember you need to get like the legal person and the finance person. Those should be hired first, get the trademark sorted. I still remember those lessons. So I'm just like, it's been very good advice throughout. I definitely recommend. And so yeah, just huge thank you to you. Yep. Cool. Right. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. I enjoyed doing this.